apparently, Brittney Griner is, in fact, a man.
The speculation about Brittney Griner's gender has been around for some time, and now it looks like we might finally have a confirmation. A former NBA team doctor just leaked her confidential testosterone test results, and they're not what anyone expected. So what exactly did these test results show, and why has it got everyone talking? Let's break it down. The revelation that changed everything. The sports world was turned upside down when explosive allegations began circulating across social media platforms, claiming that an anonymous medical doctor had somehow obtained and leaked confidential testosterone test results belonging to WNBA superstar Brittney Griner. The controversy started in the darkest corners of sports forums and conspiracy theory communities, where anonymous accounts began posting what they claimed were leaked medical documents showing abnormal hormone levels. These posts quickly gained traction, with users sharing screenshots, analysis, and increasingly elaborate theories about how a team physician had supposedly gained access to Griner's private medical information during routine NBA examinations. The supposed leak was spreading like wildfire, and nobody could stop it. Standing at 6 feet 9 inches with an 88-inch wingspan, Griner had always faced scrutiny about her physical appearance, but these new allegations went far beyond typical athlete criticism. Social media users began dissecting every aspect of her biology, from her deep voice to her flat chest, claiming that the leaked testosterone data would finally provide scientific proof of what they had long suspected about her gender identity. The internet detectives were working overtime, analyzing every photo and video they could find. The viral explosion reached fever pitch when conspiracy theorists started circulating an old Instagram story allegedly from Griner's personal account. The image, showing what appeared to be a topless photograph, became central to their argument about her biological identity. This single piece of supposed evidence would fuel months of speculation and debate. This technical argument suggested that Instagram's artificial intelligence systems had somehow confirmed Griner's alleged male biology by not removing the image as female nudity.
And when it comes to Instagram, they use a combination of like AI detection and plus manual surveyors, but specifically the AI detection to make sure that no explicit content ends up on the platform. So clearly whatever AI detection system was used when Brittney posted this, and it stayed up for 106 weeks.
Conspiracy theorists treated this as technological evidence supporting their broader theories about deceptive documentation and fraudulent identity claims. They were convinced they had found the smoking gun that would expose everything. The medical angle became increasingly sophisticated, with anonymous accounts claiming detailed knowledge of hormone testing protocols, endocrine system abnormalities, and the specific testosterone ranges that would indicate biological male characteristics. These posts often included medical terminology and scientific-sounding explanations that gave them an air of credibility, despite the complete absence of any verifiable sources. The anonymous experts were coming out of the woodwork, each claiming to have insider knowledge. They suggested that the doctor had discovered the information during routine team physicals and felt morally obligated to expose what they saw as a fundamental deception in women's sports. This mysterious figure became a folk hero to those convinced of the conspiracy.
Again, allegedly, it could be any number of things, but my first inclination is to say that this person is not a female. Firstly, because this was actually posted to Brittney's personal Instagram.
Many users claimed that multiple medical professionals across different sports organizations had access to similar information, but were being silenced by league officials and media organizations. They painted a picture of a vast cover-up involving team doctors, league administrators, and sports journalists, all working to protect what they described as a fundamental fraud. One particularly viral post, which accumulated over 2.3 million views, presented an extraordinarily detailed backstory involving decades of family deception and fraudulent documentation. According to this theory, Griner's entire identity had been fabricated from childhood, with falsified birth certificates and medical records enabling her to compete in women's sports despite supposedly being biologically male. The story was so elaborate that it read like a Hollywood thriller script.
Brittney is a weird case. He's a man, yes, that much is obvious, but not in the way that you think. He isn't trans. He's a straight cis male who was raised as a girl and given a girl's name by his parents. His mother is the insane one.
The testosterone allegations became intertwined with broader political and cultural debates about transgender participation in sports, creating a perfect storm of controversy that transcended basketball and entered national political discourse. Conservative commentators began citing the alleged leaked results as evidence supporting their arguments for stricter gender verification in women's athletics.
Honestly, I would love to see some type of an official investigation on Brittney Griner to determine, is this person intersex? Is this person trans?
Calls for official investigations intensified, with some demanding that sports organizations implement mandatory hormone testing for all female athletes. The alleged Griner results were cited as proof that existing verification systems were inadequate and that biological males were successfully infiltrating women's competitions. The pressure was mounting from multiple directions. Meanwhile, Griner's own response to persistent gender speculation became part of the controversy. Her matter-of-fact attitude toward being misgendered in public settings was interpreted by conspiracy theorists as evidence of guilt or acceptance of her alleged true identity. Every public appearance was now being scrutinized for clues.
It really don't make a difference if you say he or she to me. Like when I'm out in public, like my teammates sometimes will get mad if somebody call me a he, but I'm just like, I don't care.
This casual acknowledgement of frequent misgendering was twisted into support for the testosterone theories, with users arguing that someone who was truly female would be more offended by being mistaken for male. They treated her pragmatic approach to handling public confusion as confirmation of the conspiracy rather than evidence of someone who had learned to cope with persistent harassment. Her own words were being used against her. Intersex speculation became another branch of the conspiracy tree, with users suggesting that even if Griner wasn't transgender, she might have a condition that resulted in elevated testosterone levels that provided unfair advantages in women's competition. These theories attempted to find middle ground between the most extreme allegations and complete dismissal of the concerns. There was a theory for every possible scenario. The timing of the testosterone allegations coincided with broader cultural anxieties about changing gender norms and the increasing visibility of transgender athletes in various sports. Griner's case became a lightning rod for these tensions, with her athletic success and public profile making her a convenient target for those seeking to advance particular political or social agendas. She had become the face of a movement she never asked to represent, a trail of scandals and criminal behavior. Behind the viral conspiracy theories and testosterone speculation lies a documented trail of actual scandals, criminal charges, and controversial incidents that paint a troubling picture of Brittney Griner's off-court behavior and decision-making. These aren't unsubstantiated rumors or social media theories. They're court records, police reports, and documented incidents that reveal a pattern of poor judgment, legal troubles, and explosive behavior that has repeatedly landed her in serious trouble throughout her career. The international incident that would define Griner's public image began with what she later admitted was a moment of catastrophic carelessness that demonstrated shocking poor judgment about international travel and diplomatic tensions. On February 17, 2022, Griner made the fateful decision to pack cannabis products for a trip to Russia, despite the country's well-known strict drug laws and deteriorating relations with the United States. This single moment of poor judgment would spiral into an international crisis that lasted nearly a year and required extraordinary diplomatic intervention to resolve.
Yeah, I mean, I ask myself that too a lot. Like, it's just one bad choice of rushing and packing my bags and throwing all my bags and being careless ended up.
This admission of carelessness that led to nearly a year of international imprisonment, diplomatic crisis, and ultimately a prisoner exchange involving one of the world's most dangerous arms dealers highlighted a pattern of decision-making that consistently prioritized convenience over consequences. The fact that her personal choices ultimately required the United States to trade Victor Bout, known as the Merchant of Death, for her freedom became a source of ongoing political controversy and raised serious questions about whether celebrity status had inappropriately influenced foreign policy decisions. The circumstances surrounding her Russian detention revealed additional layers of poor judgment and questionable decision-making that had been building for years. Griner had been traveling to Russia regularly since 2014 to play for UMMC Ekaterinburg. She was earning over $1 million per season, while maintaining that the financial disparity with WNBA salaries justified the risks of playing in an increasingly volatile geopolitical environment. The detention process revealed the harsh reality of being caught in the Russian legal system, but it also highlighted how Griner's personal choices had created an international incident that required extraordinary diplomatic efforts to resolve.
They take me to this little clinic in some back street where the doctor is basically calling me a drug addict, telling me I'm a drug addict. I'm taking a piss test, basically.
The prisoner exchange that secured her freedom sparked intense debate about American foreign policy priorities and whether trading a convicted arms dealer for a basketball player who had violated drug laws set a dangerous precedent that could encourage future hostage-taking situations. Perhaps the most explosive recent scandal involved the May 22, 2025 incident during a WNBA game between her Atlanta Dream and the Indiana Fever, when cameras captured what appeared to be racist comments directed at rookie sensation Caitlin Clark. The viral footage showed Griner making what lip readers claimed were racially charged remarks after fouling out of the game in the fourth quarter. The incident exploded across social media within hours, creating a firestorm that would burn for weeks.
That pretty much sounds like trash effing white girl. Yeah. I mean, let's just be honest.
Incident occurred during the WNBA's highly publicized No Space for Hate campaign, making the alleged racist behavior particularly hypocritical and damaging to the league's anti-discrimination efforts. Conservative commentators and Clark supporters immediately demanded accountability for what they saw as obvious racist behavior from one of the league's marquee players. The timing couldn't have been worse for both Griner and the league's carefully crafted image. When Griner finally addressed the controversy weeks later, her response satisfied neither critics nor supporters and only added fuel to the fire. Her claim that she couldn't remember what she said while simultaneously insisting she would never use such language struck many as contradictory and unconvincing, suggesting either serious memory problems or deliberate deception about the incident.
You said you didn't remember what you said during that viral moment after you fouled out against the Indiana Fever. A lot of people believe what you said was effing white girl or effing white girls. Is it possible that's what you said?
No, would never say that.
The political activism that made Griner a polarizing figure reached its peak during the 2020 WNBA season, when she didn't just join other players in protesting during the national anthem. She went much further by calling for the complete elimination of the anthem from WNBA games.
She became notorious for refusing to stand for the national anthem, even saying, hey, if you keep playing the national anthem at games, I'm not even going to come out on the court until it's done playing.
This extreme position went beyond what most protesting athletes were advocating and would create an uncomfortable irony when she later found herself imprisoned abroad, desperately hoping for American government intervention to save her life. The anthem controversy demonstrated a pattern of taking extreme positions that generated maximum controversy while showing little consideration for how such stances might affect her future relationship with American institutions and public opinion. Her call to eliminate the anthem entirely from women's basketball created lasting resentment among patriotic fans and would be thrown back at her during her Russian detention by critics who mocked her desperate pleas for American government assistance. The financial aspects of her overseas play also raised ethical questions about prioritizing money over safety and patriotic considerations that would prove prophetic. Despite earning a substantial WNBA salary and endorsement deals, Griner continued to travel to geopolitically volatile regions for additional income, demonstrating a willingness to risk personal safety and potentially create diplomatic incidents for financial gain. The money was too good to pass up, even as the warning signs were flashing red. The pattern of poor decision-making extended to her interactions with game officials and league personnel throughout her career. Griner developed a reputation for technical fouls, confrontational behavior with referees, and emotional outbursts that sometimes overshadowed her considerable basketball talents and created unnecessary distractions for her teams. She was a powder keg waiting to explode, and it happened regularly on national television. Basketball legacy and personal journey. Beyond the swirling controversies and conspiracy theories lies the remarkable story of Brittney Griner, her growth as a basketball player, her relationships, and her family life. It's a story of incredible athletic success, but also of the personal struggles that come with being in the spotlight. She's had to figure out how to balance love, commitment, and responsibility, both on and off the court. Griner's basketball journey began in Houston, Texas, where she was born on October 18, 1990, to parents Raymond and Sandra Griner, who had no idea they were raising a future basketball legend. Growing up in a rural Houston area with 3 older siblings, her early dreams had absolutely nothing to do with basketball. She spent her childhood fantasizing about careers like flying planes or working on cars before discovering her exceptional athletic gifts that would eventually transform women's basketball forever and make her a household name. The path to basketball stardom wasn't immediately obvious, despite her remarkable height that would eventually reach 6 feet 9 inches and make her one of the tallest players in women's basketball history. During her formative years, Griner struggled with bullying and social acceptance issues that were directly related to her physical appearance and developing identity as a young woman who didn't fit traditional expectations. The harassment she faced about her voice, build, and non-traditional feminine presentation created emotional challenges that would influence how she approached relationships and personal connections throughout her life.
I told my mom, I was in
How
high
old?
school.
Okay.
I was in high school. I was in ninth grade when I told my moms. She was in there in her bedroom. I was sitting on the stairs. I was like, Ma, I gotta tell you something.
The coming out process that Griner described to her family revealed both the supportive environment that helped shape her confidence and the careful approach she took to revealing her authentic self to the people who mattered most. Her mother's immediate acceptance and continued love provided a foundation of security that would prove crucial as she navigated the challenges of building romantic relationships while managing a high-profile athletic career under intense public scrutiny.
She's like, Ann, okay, I still love you. I said, oh, that was easy. I said, okay, well, I'm about to go play Xbox. She was like, all right. She was like, I love you. I was like, love you too, Ma.
Her siblings' reactions were equally supportive and even somewhat expected, with her brother admitting he had been waiting for her to share what he had already suspected based on her behavior and interests. This family acceptance created a stark contrast to the public scrutiny and harassment she would face throughout her career, providing a private sanctuary where she could explore relationships and personal growth without external judgment or the constant pressure of public opinion.
You know, and my siblings, when I told them, I told my brother, he was like, I've been waiting on you to tell me. He was like, I saw you checking out what I was checking out. My sisters, same thing. They was like, we knew. All these boxes, we knew. Like, Pops was a little different.
The relationship with her father required significantly more patience and understanding, reflecting deep generational and cultural differences about LGBTQ plus acceptance that many families struggle with. Coming from the small, conservative town of Jasper, Texas, her father needed considerable time to adjust his worldview and overcome decades of traditional thinking, but ultimately embraced his daughter and her relationships completely, eventually becoming an enthusiastic grandfather who regularly asked about his grandson and worried about his daughter's well-being. The first major romantic relationship of her adult life would prove to be both personally devastating and publicly embarrassing, revealing her struggles with commitment, responsibility, and understanding the complexities of building a life with another person who had their own dreams and expectations. Her relationship with fellow WNBA player Glory Johnson began with genuine promise and mutual attraction, but quickly deteriorated into a pattern of conflict and dysfunction that would culminate in legal troubles and public scandal that damaged both their careers. The April 2015 domestic violence incident that resulted in both women being arrested for assault and disorderly conduct exposed deeper issues about emotional control, relationship management, and the pressures of maintaining a public relationship while dealing with private struggles that neither woman was equipped to handle. The police report detailed a violent altercation involving wrestling, thrown objects, and a knife that left both women injured and facing serious criminal charges that could have ended their basketball careers. What made the incident even more troubling was the decision by both women to proceed with their scheduled wedding just weeks later, despite facing active criminal charges and clearly unresolved issues about violence and communication. The optics of celebrating a marriage while criminal cases were pending demonstrated poor judgment about the seriousness of domestic violence and the importance of addressing underlying relationship problems before making legal commitments that would bind them together. The WNBA's response was swift and decisive, suspending both players for 7 games and requiring Griner to complete 26 weeks of domestic violence counseling as part of her plea agreement. The mandatory counseling sessions forced her to confront issues about anger management, communication skills, and healthy relationship dynamics that she had apparently never properly addressed, despite being a public figure with significant responsibilities and influence. The marriage quickly deteriorated into a public spectacle when Johnson announced her pregnancy with twins via artificial insemination, revealing that she had been planning to have children using donor sperm, a major life decision that apparently came as a complete shock to her new wife. The revelation exposed fundamental communication problems and vastly different expectations about their future together that should have been discussed before marriage. Griner's reaction was immediate and brutal in its coldness. She filed for an annulment the very next day, claiming she had been deceived about Johnson's pregnancy plans and felt tricked into the marriage under false pretenses. The annulment filing revealed troubling aspects of her character and approach to responsibility, suggesting someone willing to abandon their spouse during one of the most vulnerable periods of their life when support was most needed. The court proceedings that followed exposed even more details about the dysfunction and poor communication that had characterized their relationship from the beginning. Despite having no biological connection to the twins that Johnson was carrying, legal complications arose from their brief marriage that would create ongoing financial and emotional entanglements that neither woman wanted but both had to navigate. When the twins, Ava Simone and Soleil Diem, were born in October 2015, the legal situation became even more complex and emotionally fraught. Despite her her attempts to distance herself completely from the relationship and the children, Griner was eventually ordered to pay child support as part of the divorce settlement, a financial obligation that would follow her for years, despite her lack of involvement in their lives, and her clear desire to pretend they didn't exist. The divorce proceedings revealed additional troubling details about Griner's approach to relationships and responsibility that painted an unflattering picture of her character. Her attempts to completely sever all connections to Johnson and the children suggested someone who struggled with the long-term commitments and compromises that successful relationships require, preferring to walk away rather than work through difficulties. The personal relationship that would ultimately bring her the greatest happiness and stability began at Baylor University, where she met Sherelle Watson during their college years in a much more natural and gradual way. Unlike her relationship with Johnson, this connection developed slowly and carefully over several years, with both women taking time to establish their individual identities and career goals before committing to a shared future together that would prove much more sustainable. Their 2019 marriage represented a completely new chapter of stability and mutual support that demonstrated Griner's growth and maturation since the Johnson disaster. Sherelle's background in law and her more private personality provided a stabilizing influence that helped Griner navigate the challenges of maintaining a high-profile relationship while managing career pressures and public scrutiny that had previously overwhelmed her. The strength of their partnership would be tested during the most difficult period of Griner's life, when her Russian detention created unprecedented stress and uncertainty for their young marriage. Sherelle's unwavering advocacy during the 294-day ordeal demonstrated the depth of their commitment and her willingness to fight for her wife's freedom, regardless of personal cost, public attention, or the emotional toll it took on her own life and career.
Thinking about my wife, like I know she ain't gonna give up trying to get me back. My dad, my mom, I can only imagine what they was going through, because I mean, I hit some times where I was just like, man, bump this. Like, I don't know if I'm gonna get through this.
The birth of their son Bash in July 2024 marked another transformative moment in Griner's personal evolution and provided concrete evidence of her growth since the Johnson relationship disaster. Becoming a parent brought entirely new perspectives on responsibility, legacy, and the importance of creating stability and security for the next generation, rather than running away when things became difficult or complicated. Her choice to have Bash call her Pops reflected her comfort with non-traditional gender expressions while maintaining her authentic identity as a mother and primary caregiver. The decision also demonstrated her willingness to embrace unconventional approaches to family life that worked for their specific situation, rather than conforming to external expectations about how families should look or function.
About a week old now, yeah. It's going great. I mean, he's just everything we ever wanted, and, you know, team no sleep.
Yeah, how is it balancing being a new mom now with this new baby boy and being a host for All-Star Weekend?
The basketball achievements that defined her public persona were built on unprecedented physical gifts, combined with exceptional work ethic and basketball intelligence that set her apart from every other player in women's basketball history. Her college career at Baylor University established new standards for defensive dominance, with 748 career blocks, representing a level of shot blocking that seemed almost impossible in women's basketball, and changed how people thought about what female athletes could accomplish.
You're only the fourth player in WNBA history to have 10 or more All-Star Game appearances. As you get to this point in your career, when you start thinking about history and legacy, what does that mean to you?
I mean, I'm just honored. I'm blessed to be able to be here, to be selected. You know, there's so many amazing women in this league.
Her professional career continued this pattern of record-setting achievement that would define her legacy long after retirement, with 812 career WNBA blocks, making her the third highest shot blocker in league history, despite playing fewer seasons than the players above her. The single-game record of 11 blocks remained unmatched and represented a level of defensive impact that fundamentally altered opposing teams' offensive strategies whenever she stepped on the court. Brittney Griner's personal journey encompasses both devastating relationship failures that revealed serious character flaws and eventual family happiness that demonstrates her capacity for growth and learning from past mistakes. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed watching this video, click on one of the boxes playing on your screen to watch more similar content.